Today, we are going to do a no fishing, no upgrades, and no research run. This means no casting out our line, no using research points to unlock anything, and not upgrading my ship at all. The only goal is to let the credits roll. Doesn't matter what ending, as long as we get one of the endings. So it does mean completing some of the missions and getting all 4 of the relics. I mean 5. So we start the game and watch the opening cutscene. Right off the bat, first mission in the game, first thing they tell you is to catch some fish. And unfortunately, there's actually no way around this. You do need to catch fish. See, the idea was to make money by using the dredge mechanic to just pick up all the wood and scrap and valuables and make money that way. But you can't even unlock the dredge machine without catching fish first. Okay, no fishing, failed. We still have no research and no upgrades. So right off the bat, I'm gonna buy our first rusty outboard engine just to speed us up a little bit. So it's not technically an upgrade since it's just in the shop. It's not like we had to go into the upgrade menu or go into the research menu. And if you know anything about this game, the little bit of speed that this engine is gonna give us is gonna go a long way. We continue to catch the rest of the fish to pay off our debt so we can move on with the story. And for some reason, every single time I got a research part, I threw that shit away. Because we actually don't need it. Because we're not going to research once at all at any point in this video. So every single time we come across a research part, let's throw it away because we will not need it. All right, so we complete the first mission, we pay off our boat, and the mayor gives us a small package. We deliver the package across the bay, and I make the realization that we kind of don't really have to follow the main missions. At this point, we could probably just start driving around and getting the relics, and I don't think there's much that will stop us. So a big part is, since we're extremely slow and will be for the rest of the game, is just going to bed early and making sure we're not caught up in any unfortunate situations. So a lot of this is just going to be plain and safe. Oh wait, we may need to do a few more missions. Most importantly, the one with the messed up fish, where the guy appears in your boat and then tells you to come visit him. We accept his quest and he gives us the dredge equipment, so we actually can continue with the rest of the game. And we immediately make our way to Gale Cliffs to get our first relic. The first relic is in Gale Cliffs. All right, let's continue. We go to the hermit and we accept our first mission, which is just going to the center of this area and getting their family crest, delivering it back to the hermit, then going to the whaler, planting the explosives, bringing the hermit back to the whaler, and then they give us explosives, which we then use on this wall right here, which gives us our first relic. Also avoiding the giant fish, which could be made a lot easier if we had the first power from giving him the first relic. But as we all know, the first relic is in Gale Cliffs and nowhere else, especially no fancy key, which is right behind the first area of the game. But no, let's forget about that. All right, 1/4 through the game and we make our way back. And we are given haste, which is almost like it was specifically designed to help us in the Gale Cliffs. If only there was some way to get haste before you went to the Gale Cliffs. All right. And next we go to Stellar Basin. So far with no upgrades and no research needed. We get to Stellar Basin. First thing, of course, ignore your first research part. You will not need it. And to actually start off the quest lines at the Stellar Basin, we have to talk to the researcher and gives us the quest to get a firefly squid, a glowing octopus, and an aurora jellyfish. Now the octopus and the squid we're not really gonna have a problem with, but if you played the game before, you know the jellyfish you can't just use a fishing pole to catch. And the base traveling merchant does not sell the starter trawl net. Just for bonus points, we brought the dog to the researcher just to give it to home. I mean, it gives you treasure, but what are we gonna use it on, you know? So I thought the first shipwright in the game, all the way back in the Greater Maros, sold the trawl net and we just had no idea. So I went all the way back, only to find out she doesn't sell the trawl net. In fact, to get the first trawl net, you need the trawl spaces for it. And to get the trawl spaces, you need to upgrade. So unfortunately, we do actually need to upgrade at least once. That's all right. We'll keep the upgrades to as minimal as we can get it, which should only be this one, right? Right? First, we get the materials, we come right back, we upgrade our net spaces, and we get the trawl net. Then we go all the way back to Stellar Basin to get the aurora jellyfish. We bring it back to the researcher. Then we go to the research outpost. We get the prototype parts and we bring them back. The reward is that we get the sampling device, which is the abyssal fishing line, which is used to catch these 4 fish. The first one being the loose jaw, which is totally doable with the sampling device. The snailfish, which requires the hadal fishing gear. The giant amphipod, which also requires the hadal Huddle, and the anglerfish, which is actually an abyssal, which we can totally catch right now. So you might be wondering, what does it take? Since our new fishing line is only an abyssal, how do we get the hadal? Well, to get the hadal, you can either break our research points and research the newer lines, or there's one other option we have, which is get the viscera cane. But how do you get the viscera cane? Luckily, it can be found near the stellar basin, but it requires 4 sharks. It requires the hammerhead shark, the bronze whaler, the black tip reef shark, and the ghost shark. Now, the only shark that we can catch right now with our sampling device, which only covers abyssal, is the ghost shark. Everything else is oceanic, and we don't have anything that covers oceanic. The only fishing rod that doesn't require a research part is the other altar fishing rod, the tendon rod, which covers oceanic, shallow, and mangrove. For this one, we have to go to Twisted Strand and give it an amber end fish, which then gets us the tendon rod, which then we can use the tendon rod to catch the sharks, and then take the sharks and bring them to the altar, and then use the altar to get the viscera rod. So we then can catch the fish required to complete this mission. And it turns out we don't even have to complete this mission. We just have to get the relic from the center, which requires a hadal anyways. So no matter what, we gotta use these items if we don't want to use any research parts. But now we can put the generator in, which keeps the Kraken from killing us, so we can get to the 2 other fish needed to complete the mission. But wait, to even use the tendon rod, it requires 6 spaces, and the only way to get 6 spaces is to get the first upgraded ship to give you the fishing spaces. So unfortunately, this is very far from a no upgrades run, but with doing all this, we don't have to spend a single research point. So even after all this, even after all these upgrades and doing all these different altars, we have not used a single research point or researched item. So after a few days, we get our upgrades, we go to Twisted Strand, we catch our amber and fish, we give it to the rock slab, and we get our tendon rod, and we start our journey for some sharks. Our first shark is going to be the ghost shark, because I think it's going to be the most difficult shark because it's the furthest away shark, and we can't let these sharks rot before we get to the altar. We got to start very early, get our shark, and then beeline directly to the altar before it goes bad. And the rest of the sharks are pretty straightforward. And we get our viscera cane, which means we finally have hadal or haddle, or whatever. That means we can get the relic and move on to the second half of the game with way more coverage and way more powerful fishing rods than I ever thought we would have. Next, we gotta kill all the monsters to get the 3rd relic. To do that, we talk to the airman. We get to demote our pieces. We then get the fish needed for the bait. We set up the traps. He blows them up, and pretty quickly we get our 3rd relic. And we just have 1 more. Actually 2 more, but I mean, it's been right behind us the whole time. We could just turn around and get it. I just don't remember where it was, and I just didn't think about this. You'll see. And even more straightforward and simple, we just do the relic challenges for this area, getting the flames we need to get the last relic. And we can complete every single other relic. We can even complete half of this relic. But we do need a pale skate, which is a volcanic type fish. And no, the tendon rod or the viscera rod do not have the volcanic type. So at this point, I'm scrambling around the wiki, trying to figure out how to get volcanic without wasting a research point. And unfortunately, you cannot. There's no other relics, there's no other rock slabs to get any other kind of challenge rods or anything like that. You need to use a research part. At least 3 to get the volcanic trawl net, which is cheaper than the fishing rod. So in the spirit of the challenge, we're gonna spend the least amount of research points to complete this last goal, to get our last piece. So yes, that is breaking all 3 rules we set out for ourselves. We broke the no fishing rule, we broke the no upgrades rule, and at the last step, we had to break the no research rule. We eventually find the pale skate using our trawl net, bring it to the final altar, get our last flame, turn in our flames, get the final relic piece, finally realize that we're missing the key, the easiest one in the game, turn that into, and we complete the game. We were pretty close to finishing it there with no research. So I'm gonna give myself some credit. It's not like it made things easier for us. So I'm gonna chalk this up as challenge complete, our minimalist challenge. But what if we just rename it? What if we just call it the minimalist challenge? You cannot use any fewer research parts to complete the game, unless you can. And then, let me know, and we'll see about revisiting this, but we'll see. But, what did we learn here? That the game developers are pretty dang good at their job if they make you use all of their mechanics. I mean, I'm not going to fault them for this. This is a dumb challenge to begin with, but all right. Well, that's going to be it. I got one more challenge. Well, it's not a challenge video. I got one more dredge video on the way. So get subscribed. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys got any more challenge ideas. And yeah, this is, I'm Crust, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. It's freaking pale skate right at the end. God, freaking frick.